Greetings and welcome back. Ladies, gentlemen, children of all ages, wizards, hobbits, dwarves, elves, and yes, even balrogs. Welcome to more calculus, and today we have a very interesting trigonometric integral. We have the integral from 0 to pi of cosine x plus sine of sine x, which is indeed pretty interesting. And in fact, both of the integrals, that is, the two integrals you'll get by invoking the linearity of the integration operator. One is the integral from 0 to pi of cosine x dx plus the integral from 0 to pi of sine x dx. And I'll call this one here I sub 1 and the other I sub 2. So both of these are a couple of really interesting integrals. But how do we go about solving them? Let's start off with I sub 1. So I sub 1 equals integral 0 to pi cosine x dx. And I'd like to make use of the Maclaurin series for cosine x. We know that this thing equals the sum over k from 0 to infinity of -1 to the k times x to the 2k over 2k factorial. So we have cosine of cosine x, so that means I can write the integral as that from 0 to pi of the sum over k from 0 to infinity of -1 to the k times cosine to the 2k of x over 2k factorial dx. Now this thing is clearly absolutely convergent, so we can switch up the order of the operators and write this as the sum over k from 0 to infinity of the integrals from 0 to pi of -1 to the k times cosine to the 2k of x over 2k factorial dx. And of course we have some terms that are independent of the x variable, so we'll take them outside the integration operator and get the sum over k of -1 to the k over 2k factorial times the integral from, the integral from 0 to pi of cosine to the 2k of x dx. Okay, cool. So now we have a nice looking trigonometric integral that we could solve with the help of one of our favorite special functions. But the thing is, that favorite special function of ours is expressed in terms of an integral from 0 to pi over 2, so we'll have to play around with it a little bit. The beta function with complex arguments u and v equals twice the integral from 0 to pi over 2 of cosine to the 2u minus 1 of x times sine to the 2v minus 1 of x dx. So we do need 2u minus 1 equal to 2k, which implies that u here is just 2k plus 1 over 2. And we need to get rid of the sine term, so this thing equals 0, implying that v here equals 1/2. Okay, cool. So that means the integral from 0 to pi over 2 of cosine to the 2k of x dx equals the beta function evaluated at 2k plus 1 over 2 and 1/2. And because the beta function is symmetric in u and v, meaning that we can switch up their roles, one goes to the sine and the other to the cosine, you get what I'm trying to say? So that means we could just flip them and get the sine integral as well. That is the integral from 0 to pi over 2 of sine to the 2k of x dx, which is important because this will come in handy quite a bit later. But wait a minute, our target integral was evaluated from 0 to pi, so let's return to that. So we have integral 0 to pi cosine to the 2k of x dx, which we can break down into one integral from 0 to pi over 2 and the other from pi over 2 to pi of cosine to the 2k of x dx. Now I'd like the limits for the second integral to be 0 and pi over 2. So I'm just going to perform a transformation here, letting t here equal x minus pi over 2, or that just means x here will be equal to t plus pi over 2. And this is cool because we have dt equal to dx, and the limits transform the way we need them. So x approaching pi over 2 means t will approach 0, and x approaching pi means that t will approach pi over 2, which means that our integral now is that from 0 to pi over 2, terribly sorry about that, of cosine of what exactly? We have x equal to t plus pi over 2. This whole thing is raised to the 2k dt. Okay, cool. So the phase shift over here turns this into a sine function. Specifically, this would be a negative sign, but we're raising it to the 2k, so positive sign, no harm done. Integral 0 to pi over 2 sine to the 2k of t dt, and like I mentioned before, this is equal to the cosine integral that I'm just going to write with the dummy variable x now. So all of that is extremely cool because all of that implies that the integral from 0 to pi of cosine to the 2k of x equals twice the integral from 0 to pi over 2 of cosine to the 2k of x dx, which we do know what it evaluates out to. This evaluates to the beta function being evaluated at what exactly? We had 1 plus 2k over 2 and 1/2. So we have this result that we can now express in terms of gamma functions, because beta u and v equals gamma u times gamma v over gamma u plus v. So that means, I'll just call this integral here a. So a here equals, what do we got? We got gamma 1 plus 2k over 2 times gamma 1/2, famously equal to root pi, and then we have gamma 1 plus 2k plus 1 over 2, which means that we have root pi times gamma k plus 1/2, that's what this thing evaluates out to, and then we have gamma 2 plus 2k over 2, so that's just k plus 1. Okay, cool. Now, why on earth did we even need this integral in the first place? Well, let me just scroll back up and recall that I sub 1 here? Yeah, that was I sub 1. I sub 1 equaled this infinite series that involved this integration result. So I'm just gonna pop this down over there. So this implies that I sub 1, which equaled the sum over k from 0 to infinity, of negative 1 to the k over 2k factorial. 2k factorial would be gamma 2k plus 1. And then we have a root pi outside, which is quite nice. It's just sitting there, minding its own business. And then we got gamma k plus 1/2 over gamma k plus 1. Now, this looks pretty awesome, but we do have a really cool formula for the gamma function called the duplication formula, and that just works out perfectly here, because notice that essentially over here we have a ratio of gamma something over gamma 2 times that same something. So the duplication formula looks pretty good over here. So we have the duplication formula as gamma 2s equal to 2 to the 2s minus 1 times gamma s times gamma s plus 1/2 over root pi. Now what we could do is let s here equal to k plus 1/2, giving us gamma 2k plus 1 equal to 2 to the 2k plus 1 minus 1, so that's just 2 to the 2k. Then we got gamma k plus 1/2, and then we have gamma k plus 1/2 plus 1/2, which is, of course, k plus 1. We divide this thing by root pi, and now we have pretty much exactly the ratio that we needed. We have gamma k plus 1/2 over gamma 2k plus 1, and this thing should be equal to root pi up top over 2 to the 2k over gamma k plus 1. Enjoyers of partial differential equations might see where all of this is going. Anyway, so this implies that I sub 1 equals You now have root pi squared, which is just pi, times the sum over k from 0 to infinity of negative 1 to the k times, wait, what exactly do we have? I've forgotten. Okay, negative 1 to the k, we still have this term, but we already have that term in the denominator as well. Okay, cool. That means we have 2 to the 2k times gamma squared of k plus 1. And now we can invoke a very special function that I don't think I've invoked this that often, maybe once or twice here on the channel. We're talking about Besel's function of the first kind. So we have j sub alpha of x equal to the sum over k from 0 to infinity of negative 1 to the k over k factorial, terribly sorry about that, times k plus alpha factorial times x over 2 raised to 2k plus alpha. So for our infinite series, that's the solution to I sub 1, it looks like we just need alpha here equal to 0 and x equal to 1. Yeah, that should work out perfectly, because in that case, we have I sub 1, we have j sub 0 of 1 equal to the sum over k from 0 to infinity of negative 1 to the k over k factorial times k factorial again, so that's k factorial squared, in other words, gamma squared k plus 1. And we also have this 1 over 2 to the 2k, which looks exactly like I sub 1 multiplied by pi. So this implies that I sub 1 equals pi times j naught of 1, which is pretty awesome. And now for the second integral, I sub 2. Now for I sub 2, we adopt the same strategy, however, with the Maclaurin series for the sine function. So we do know that sine x can be expanded as the sum over k from 0 to infinity of negative 1 to the k times x to the 2k plus 1 over 2k plus 1 factorial, which means that I sub 2 equals, I'm just going to write this down with the operator switched and, all the terms taken outside. So we have the sum over k from 0, terribly sorry about that, 0 to infinity of negative 1 to the k over 2k plus 1 factorial times the integral from 0 to pi of sine to the 2k plus 1 of x dx. Okay, cool. Again, time to just break this down into one integral from 0 to pi over 2 and the other from pi over 2 to pi. So integral 0 to pi, sine to the 2k plus 1 of x dx. Why did I narrate that before writing while I know that I'm narrating it while I'm writing? So why narrate before writing? I'm just overthinking this at this point. Anyway, so we have integral 0 to pi over 2 plus integral pi over 2 to pi of sine to the 2k plus 1 of x dx. Now for that transformation again, we let x here equal to t plus pi over 2. Was it that transformation? Yes, indeed it was, because that way we got t equal to x minus pi over 2, and everyone was happy with the limits and all that. So this thing equals integral from 0 to pi over 2 of sine of t plus pi over 2 all to the 2k plus 1 dt, and sine of t plus pi over 2 would be cosine, positive cosine. So that means we have integral 0 to pi over 2 cosine of 2k plus 1 of t dt. And again, because of symmetry, we know that this thing equals integral 0 to pi over 2 sine to the 2k plus 1 of x dx. And again, all of this implies that the integral from 0 to pi of sine to the 2k plus 1 of x dx equals integral 0 to pi over 2 times 2, of course, sine to the 2k plus 1, terribly sorry about that, of x dx. And of course, it's time for the beta function once again. So in this case, What exactly do we need one of the arguments to be equal? Again, the beta function is symmetric in both its arguments. So if 2u minus 1 equals 2k plus 1, which means that 2u is just 2k plus 2, so that means u here is k plus 1, and v is going to be 1/2, which means that our integral from 0 to pi of sine to the 2k plus 1 of x equals twice, no wait, it's 2 times the integral, so yeah, it's just the beta function evaluated at k plus 1 and 1/2, and we can expand this in terms of the gamma function again. So we have gamma k plus 1 times gamma 1/2, famously root pi, over gamma k plus 1 plus 1/2 would be k plus 3/2. Plugging this into I sub 2 gives us the sum over k from 0 to infinity of negative 1 to the k over 2k plus 1 factorial, which would be exactly what gamma 2k equals, right? And then we have gamma k plus 1 over here, over, wait, I think I'm missing something. Let me check. Oh, yes, of course. 2k plus 1 factorial would be gamma 2k plus 1 plus 1, as in we have gamma 2k plus 2. Yeah, that makes sense. Gamma 2k plus 2, and of course here we have gamma k plus 3/2. And of course all that duplication formula jazz yields over here I sub 2 equal to, I seem to have forgotten a root pi over here, terribly sorry about that, pi times the sum over k from 0 to infinity of negative 1 to the k over 2 to the 2k plus 1 times gamma squared k plus 3/2. And to solve this, or rather express this in terms of another cool special function, we'll make use of the Strub function of the first kind, which is related to the Bezel function of the first kind, the latter being a solution to, well, Bezel's equation, and the former being also a solution to Bezel's equation, but an inhomogeneous version of it. So the Strub function, terribly sorry about that, h sub alpha of x equals the sum over k from 0 to infinity of negative 1 to the k over 2 to the, no wait, it's actually gamma k plus 3/2, which is exactly what we needed. And I'm just going to need a bit of writing space, so I'll take this thing over here. And then we have gamma k plus alpha plus 3/2 times x over 2 raised to what exactly? We have 2k plus alpha plus 1. And again, over here we see we need x equal to 1 and alpha equal to 0 to get h naught of 1 equal to the sum over k from 0 to infinity of negative 1 to the k over gamma squared k plus 3/2 times 1 over 2 to the 2k plus 1, implying that I sub 2 equals pi times h naught of 1. And of course the combined result, that is the integral I, equals pi times j naught of 1 plus h naught of 1. So a wonderful solution development leading to a couple of really cool special functions. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you. See you next time.